Hey everyone, this is going to be my first video for Classic WoW content, and it's going to focus on how to get your mount right at, or at least not too much past, level 40. It's a 60% speed increase to have a mount, which makes a big difference as you start to travel the world more, and will make questing in Azeroth just more pleasant in general. So the first thing before we get into this, some of these tips aren't quote-unquote fun for some people. That's okay. WoW is always going to be a game where you can pick and choose what you want to do. If something in this list doesn't sound interesting to you, feel free to do it differently. The information will help you make a better decision for the way you want to play the game, even if you don't necessarily want to follow these tips. So remember that saving for your mount is a game of inches. It might not seem like 10 silver there, 14 silver there is going to add up to 90 gold, but it absolutely will. So the first one I'm going to discuss is a big one that I think gets very undervalued and ties into almost all subsequent tips. Get honored with your home city as fast as possible. When you're honored, you get a 10% discount for shopping with people in that faction. That is all shopping: training, repairs, vendor supplies. People talk about how your mount costs 100 gold, but really is 90 gold because you're honored. Well, getting honored as early as possible and then focusing on using vendors you're honored with makes a big difference. Generally, it's doable by the low teens with your main city and with your whole faction by level 30. And we'll get into how big a difference that can make. Training spells. Obviously, with our hot honored discount, we're going to be paying less for most of our spells, but it's important to realize that early on, you don't spend that much money on individual spells. So as an example, a mage spends just 20 gold to buy every skill from 1 to 40, but nearly 14 gold of that is just from levels 32 to 40. So by training in places where you're honored, you're going to be paying less overall, but you can also skip a lot of spells. A lot of spells are utility spells, or you only need to rank one of a spell as you're leveling. You don't need everything. So even though, you know, we're honored, we're going to be saving 2 gold overall on a mage just by being honored as we train right away, we're also going to be skipping a lot of those more expensive spells that we don't necessarily need while we're leveling. Next tip, repairing. In one word, don't. Generally early on, unless you're dying a lot, you're upgrading gear so frequently that an item rarely has time to get to 0 durability before you just vendor it. On my latest shaman, I repaired for my first time when I was level 18, and of course, I was honored with the vendor. I will add one caveat to this, which is that if your gear is yellow and you're going to do an instance, repair. You might not die, you might not wipe, but if your gear ends up breaking during the instance, it can really suck for not only you, but your entire group, and that's not okay. Remember that there is an anvil and a hammer when you go to repair vendor. The anvil is repair all, but the hammer is repair individual items. So you can click on that and then click on the individual pieces of gear you want to repair. It's not going to make a huge difference early on, but as you level up and repairing gear gets more expensive, it's actually going to start to add quite a bit of help. And remember, every little silver matters in this equation. Next tip, vendoring. This is a common tip. To pick up everything you see, loot everything you see, keep your bags upgraded, and usually you can gather all the materials yourself and have new bags made for a tip very cheaply. So you don't need to destroy items you could vendor instead, but there's one aspect of this that never gets mentioned enough. Download a vendor price add-on so you can see how much something vendors for in the tooltip, and check every quest reward. Sometimes quests that have no upgrades for you in terms of gear may have a reward that is worth more than double the other rewards, especially quests where the options are a weapon versus a piece of armor. Into the Scarlet Monastery is an instance quest a lot of people do naturally in the course of playing the game and running SM. You'll usually do it around level 38 or 39, so before you get your mount. It has 3 rewards, all of which are decent, but the weapon is worth 1 gold, 82 silver, and 55 copper. The necklace, the next highest vendor value, is worth 83 silver and 77 copper. Nearly a 1 gold difference. This is not uncommon at all. Simply picking the highest value quest reward can make a difference of literally 10 to 15 gold in the 1 to 40 climb. Trade skills. This one's going to be the most controversial for myself as well because I love trade skills, but every trade skill costs you money, some more than others. You have to train them, you have to buy equipment to use them. It doesn't seem like a lot at first, a vial there, some spices here, blacksmith hammer over there, but it adds up. Crafting trade skills even more so because you're constantly buying recipes from the vendors, and especially enchanting, which encourage you to disenchant old quest rewards rather than vendoring them, are very likely to cost you money as you level and not make you anything. So approach trade skills really cautiously. It is possible to make money, or at least to break even, on pretty much every trade skill, but how to do so would be a guide almost unto itself, and may well vary from server to server. Gathering trade skills are a bit safer, but you have to actually sell what you gather. And selling what you gather may not be as easy as you think, like just going to the auction house, because the next tip is avoid the auction house. So everyone should have a level 5 bank alt that you mail things to. But even when you mail things to your bank alt, you should avoid the auction house. The auction house has a deposit fee every time you put something up, and if it doesn't sell, you lose the deposit fee. If it does sell, you lose a part of the value of the sale, which means that every time you use the auction house, you're not making as much money as you could have if you just sold via the trade window. What you want to do is you have a pile of stuff to sell. It's on your main character. You want to ask in the zone you're in, does anyone want XYZ? Try to sell it directly in the zone you're in. A lot of times stuff you get is good for other people right around your level. And where are the people right around your level? They're in your zone leveling with you. If nothing sells, mail them to your bank. And at the beginning and end of each play session, log onto your bank alt and ask in trade chat, does anyone want to buy XYZ? And that way you're completely avoiding the auction house fees. Everything will eventually sell for the most part. And when it doesn't, this is why you're level 5, you train your bank alt in enchanting and disenchant things. Now, because disenchanting materials have no vendor price, they also have no deposit fee on the auction house. So you can put up vendor disenchanting mats on the auction house as many times as you want. They will still take part of the final price when you sell the item, but you can put it up as many times as you want and you'll never lose money from the fees. So it's okay to put disenchanting mats on the auction house because there's no deposit. Last tip, and this one varies somewhat by class, food and water. When you log in, ask in chat for a mage to make you some food and water for a tip. Even with an honored discount, this should always be cheaper than buying it from innkeepers and other vendors. It allows you to level much more quickly, knowing you can just keep clicking drink or eat every time you want to because it's so much cheaper, right? So that's going to be it. If you follow all of those tips, I guarantee you will have enough gold by level 40 for your mount. If you follow some of them, you may end up getting to like 42 or 44 before you have your mount. But you will have it while you're leveling and for the bulk of your leveling. Bearing in mind that level 44 is the halfway point in terms of experience as you level from 1 to 60. So getting your mount by level 44 is still getting your mount by the halfway point if you think of it in terms of total time. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them down below and I'll see if I can get to you. And if there's other videos you'd like to see me do, please post those as well. Have a good day, everyone.